Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to the homestead. I came out a little bit earlier and did most of the chores already. I was just coming out now to kind of check on everyone. But I wanted to give you guys an update of kind of where the farm is at for the year, things that are going on, and things that are kind of going to be happening in the immediate future. So as you saw in the last two videos, all the processing is done for the year. We got the pigs brought to the processors largely without incident. There was one issue which I talk about in this video that I'll link up in the corner. But all the meat from the pigs, all the fresh meat at least, is back from the processor. Some of it is in the hands of our customers for wholes and halves. The smoked stuff is still a couple weeks out. That's got to get brined and smoked and then cut up and frozen there. Turkeys, all the turkeys got processed the Tuesday before Thanksgiving. Everything went off there. We had a few really big birds in the mix. They were all actually pretty big. All the females were around 30 pounds. And then the tom, actually our biggest, was 42 pounds dressed. That is not including the feathers and the head and all the giblets. That was the bird that went in the oven, was 42 pounds. We actually got invited to the Thanksgiving gathering where that bird was being cooked, and it was pretty cool to see something that you've made not just end up on your own table but on somebody else's table as well. So that was a really fun night. Jackie, Emma, and I had a great time. But it's gross out here, so we're gonna head inside. Jackie actually put something together for me that I want to show you guys, and then we're gonna have a little bit of a serious discussion up there. We're gonna try it out for the first time. So let's head up. Check this out. Pretty cool, huh? So this was actually a little nook in our bedroom that was largely unused. And we had this desk kicking around the garage. It was for an employee at Jackie's office that never ended up happening. So she set it up yesterday in here as a little kind of editing and filming nook. I still got to fill it out a little bit, but this will be the place where if I'm sitting down and I'm doing my editing or I'm talking to you guys, this will be the spot where I can do it. So recently on the channel, you guys saw a video where I had to unexpectedly put down a pig. Right off the bat with that video, there was a lot of really good positive interaction in the comments. Lots of people talking about being prepared for that sort of thing and how it was a necessary thing to do. And that was a part that I really liked about the whole situation. And that was really what I hoped to do with the video. I hoped to spark positive interactions around the taking of an animal's life for food. That's what we do here on the homestead, and it's kind of a part of reality that we have to deal with daily. But there was something going on in the background of that video, and I noticed it pretty much right off the bat and then for a few days after, and that is the fact that we were losing subscribers. Not anything crazy, certainly not by the hundreds, but definitely a noticeable impact in seeing people leave. And if I actually pull up the analytics on that video, you can see, since it was published, that that's what things have looked like. And if you do the math and calculate who's there net, it's only been -4 subscribers. But there were 15 people total that clicked off that video. A few other people subscribed because of it, but people were leaving. And I'm not making this video to call out people who don't feel comfortable taking an animal's life. I'm not trying to discourage anybody from homesteading. I'm not trying to discourage anybody from taking the steps needed to become more self-sufficient when it comes to your food supply. But I do need to be honest when I say that I need to convey the message that maybe homesteading's just not for you. You see, with homesteading comes the need to procure some source of protein. And if you have a family, you might need to procure a decent amount of protein. And the way to do that, if you don't have a ton of land, is by raising animals. And you can raise animals for milk, you can raise animals for eggs, you can also raise animals for meat like we do. And that works. But if you're going to take on raising animals, even if it's just for eggs and milk, which is a relatively non-obtrusive process, you need to understand that things are going to happen. The first time I ever took an animal's life here on the farm, I remember it bluntly. We had a couple of barred rock laying hens, and they were older hens. We had kind of adopted them from somebody that couldn't take care of them anymore. And one of the hens, I don't even think she was laying. She was older, and she had just been having a rough couple days, and Jackie and I picked her up. We looked up under her vent to kind of see what was going on, and she had suffered from fly strike, which, if you've never experienced it, it's essentially a fly lays eggs on a wound or an infection or something like that, and the maggots begin to eat the animal while it's still alive. So obviously that animal needed to be taken out of its misery. It was in pain. I mean, to see a chicken showing signs that it's in pain is pretty crazy. So I took that chicken out back. I'd never done something like that before. I tied her feet up to a tree with a piece of paracord that I had laying around, and I used a pair of pruning shears to take the head off that chicken. It was not something I was happy that I had to do. It was not something that was easy for me, but it was something that needed to be done. You know, another time, some of you can remember that I shared, we had a pekin duck on the farm that had a pretty terrible prolapse that also needed to be put out of its misery. And again, when it's unexpected like that, it's not something that is easy to do. But if you bring these animals onto your property and you commit to them, to giving them a good life, then you also need to commit to ending that life when it's no longer good for them. So when it came time to kill that pig, I wasn't happy about it. I would have, wanted to do the selfish thing and put it on a trailer and bring it to the butcher and have the butcher handle the situation. But that's not what happened. And I think it's important where if you're going to have these animals, you need to honor them in all ways, including in death. So many times in Facebook groups and on Craigslist posts and things like that, I see posts of people looking to rehome animals that are either sick or they don't want to kill themselves. And it's kind of a bummer to me that somebody would rather let an animal suffer and just give it to somebody else than do the right thing. So while I'm not advocating anybody not get into a homesteading practice or, shy away from this sort of thing, I am saying that if you're going to bring these animals onto your homestead, be prepared, mentally prepare yourself that this is something you may need to do in the future. Seek out a mentor, look for somebody who is more versed in these sorts of things, maybe not even super well versed, but at least they've done it before. They've got some experience. I am not the world's foremost chicken butcher, but I will always take somebody onto the homestead on processing day that wants to learn and extend to them an opportunity to gain that knowledge. I'm all about providing educational opportunities for people that want to learn these sorts of things, which is why we've done things like do the chicken processing workshop and looked to provide instruction to people even before the chicken processing workshop. If people wanted to come over for pig processing day, they were more than welcome, where they could come over and see how the process was. So again, not telling you to not do it, but letting you know that these are the sorts of realities that exist. And if you're going to get into it, you need to be ready for that. Now, this is actually a good segue into something new for us. We have set up a Patreon. I've talked about it before, and I haven't really done anything concrete until now. Whenever we've processed animals on the farm, whether it is a chicken, a duck, a pig, most recently, I have taken video of that entire process and held it and kind of backed off on uploading it to YouTube, mainly because YouTube is not going to let us show that sort of thing. People have asked how they can support us, and I've always struggled with how do I give back to people who support us in a way that's meaningful. So the Patreon page, which I'm going to link in the description, and I think I can put a link up in the corner. I'll try. I might not be able to. There's 3 tiers there, and one is your most basic, simple, lowest price tier. That is going to get you access to essentially a chat room where you can talk with us and other people about all sorts of things, whatever you want to, really, if it's related to homesteading. You're going to get access to a once-a-month educational video that I'm going to upload that is going to be completely uncensored because it's off of YouTube. I can show an entire animal processing from start to finish. I can put whatever I want in there, no matter how involved it is. It's going to be real and raw and mostly uncut, because I want people to see the actual process of these things before they decide to get into this sort of thing. And then there are 2 tiers up above that where if you want to support us more, you can do that, and you will also get meaningful bang for your buck back. There's a tier for $10 a month where every quarter you will get some sort of gift from the homestead sent to you, whether it could be a jam or a jelly that we've created. It could be a bar of soap, which we've recently taken to, which I haven't talked a lot about on the channel, but when you raise pigs, you have a lot of extra lard kicking around, and soap's a great way to process that into something useful. It's really just kind of our choice. Whatever we have that's meaningful that we've created, that's what we're going to send out. And then for one step above that, there is a $25 a month tier where if one item from the farm is not enough, we will put together a small gift basket and send that to you quarterly. It may include something from the farm directly. It may include some piece of Mindful Homestead merchandise for you. It could be a whole bunch of different things. So those are the things that exist. I will link the Patreon page. Do not feel like you need to support us on Patreon. It's not something that I did to become a huge money maker, but people have asked us how they can support the farm. Obviously, we can't sell whole and half shares of pork and mail them across the country, but we can provide an educational experience for people that want to learn more about what we're doing here and maybe how they can do it themselves. And then we can provide some small wares from the farm that we've created over the years. With that said, thank you for watching, everybody. I hope this video was not kind of too long-winded. I'm going to try and cut in as much as I can as far as content from the things I talked about, but I don't often like to just sit down and talk in front of the camera. And I don't know, maybe you guys do, maybe you don't. Leave it in the comments down below if this video was boring. Thanks for watching, and have a great day, everybody. Bye.